Hello, this is Jim McClellan. This is Henderson County Sheriff's Office, and this is our forensic lab. I work here and was asked to talk with you a little bit about what we learn in forensics, the way we take care of ourselves, keep from contaminating things, cross-contamination, and stuff like that, and how it applies to the times where we're in, especially with the coronavirus, and to help protect y'all and to keep y'all from having a false sense of security on some of the things that you may see out there that may not be protecting you as much as you're thinking they are. And leading to that, I will say the best thing for you to do at all times is the washing your hands with soap and hot water for at least 20 seconds. And I'll demonstrate that to you in just a little bit. First of all, as far as forensic lab goes, one of the things we like to talk about in forensics is what we call Locard's principle. And Locard's principle is just saying wherever there's contact, okay, there's trace of evidence left. So when we're talking about crime scenes and stuff, when someone goes into a building, a scene or whatever, they are bringing stuff into that scene with them and they are taking stuff out with them. And how that applies to coronavirus is anywhere you go, if someone has the coronavirus, okay, they taking it with them, but they're leaving it wherever they go. Be it talking to people, and we're using the 6-foot distance, which is great to do, and keep that up. That works great for lessening the chances of you getting it. But within that 6 feet distance, there are also objects. And when I'm talking and breathing, some of this, a lot of stuff can go onto those items, and someone else can come by, or if you touch it with your hands, you can pick up and you can cross-contaminate, take it somewhere else and leave it. Or if you touch your own face, you can give it to yourself. So be careful and think about that stuff when you're out and about. For our elderly population that we're trying to prevent from getting the coronavirus, the more you can stay away from items that are not in your house that you have cleaned and sanitized, and not let other people come in and maybe contaminate them, and stay in that area, the best you're going to do on preventing yourself from getting it. You wonder, okay, how easily is this transferred? What I'd like to show you today is using a principle we call, when we're going into a crime scene, looking for some item that someone's been into that scene. What we look for is fingerprints. So if a person comes into a scene and say there's a piece of paper here, they come in, they touch this piece of paper, and they leave, okay, they have just left an item there. They've left their fingerprints on this piece of paper. It's something that you can't see, but they're left here. The way we're able to visualize that is by using black powder in the forensic science method. We take our black powder, we put it onto the piece of paper, and we're trying to visualize to see if they have left something at that scene. And as you can see here, before it was plain piece of white paper, after processing it with the black powder, you can tell the latent fingerprints left on the scene. We use this in forensics to put somebody back at the scene. What we're talking about today, though, is when someone comes into your house, they go into Walmart, they go into different buildings, and if they have contamination, if they have on their hands or in their mouths the virus, they can be spreading it in those areas. When they leave, if you come in, you could also be collecting it with your hands. So when you go to Walmart and you go to other places and say they're wearing their gloves, and this is all they're wearing is gloves, all the glove is doing is putting a layer of plastic over their hands. We use this in crime scenes to prevent us from leaving fingerprints at the scene. Okay, but it does not prevent us from collecting stuff at the scene and taking it with us on this glove out of the scene. So if you come into an area wearing gloves, or if they cough on their hands, okay, they can still spread contamination of the virus to other places where you can then come along later and pick it up. So we want to prevent those things. Like I said, the best way to prevent it is to stay indoors, stay at home, not go out. Okay? But if you do, think about that. I'm touching my face all the time. So what I do to prevent myself from touching my face and touching a lot of items, I try to keep my hands in my pocket. And as long as I keep them in my pocket, and I also tell people coming up to my crime scene, if they don't have gloves on, and even if they do have gloves, to keep their hands in the pocket. Because if you're doing that walking around the whole time, it reminds you not to be touching things. Okay, now the personal protective equipment that we have. What this does is protect you from getting the virus on you. It can get onto the glove instead of yourself, but it can still be spread. But the way that you want to put the gloves on, and the gloves and the respirator this is the P95, which you hear about on TV, which I'll show you how to use it correctly, and the gloves. You're going to see those different line of defenses. In the hospitals, you're going to see hopefully that they're wearing gloves, masks, and they're wearing face shields too, because from the virus you can take it in from your nose, your mouth, and your eyes. You can take it in from your hands and then to your nose, mouth, and eyes, or someone being close to you coughing on you. So if you're around other people, you want to prevent that. The only way to prevent it all from coming in is wearing the mask and really a shield covering your eyes too, and your hands from touching it. But then each time you talk to an individual, whatever, you should be disregarding the gloves and the mask, and that's what they have to do in the hospitals. We can't really do that. So the best thing for you to do, if nothing else, is wash your hands, hot water and soapy water. Soapy soap and hot water for at least 20 seconds. If you're wearing a mask, that's going to help. It's going to protect your nose, eyes. And it's going to protect if you're around and you think you're sick, so you don't distribute those germs to other people. But the proper way for PPE to put on the gloves it's like this. And mostly about taking gloves off and taking the mask is after they may get contamination on them, is the way you take them off. The inside of this goes towards your face. And you pull these around. You want to make sure you get a nice tight seal, so you take it around the nose, which clamps down, and then hold it around the mouth and breathe in and let it seal nicely to your face. Then breathing it out, like I said, the best protection this is going to do is not transfer it to someone else. Okay? Because your eyes are still open when you're wearing this and you can still take it in. But this will prevent you from transferring it to someone else. The gloves, if someone has coughed on stuff, got things on the items, I can still get that onto my glove and still transfer it to my face or transfer it to somewhere else. The gloves are mostly used for personal protective equipment for nurses and doctors in hospitals, so when they go from room to room, they don't cross-contaminate one germs from one area to the next. To take them off, you want to take the mask from the outside where the contamination is, pull it off, not touching your face or contaminating anything else. Take the glove. You can take contaminated part of glove, touch contaminated part, pull off the glove. This part, slide your finger under where it's not contaminated, pull off the glove over the top, then take both and throw them in the trash. Disregard those, and anytime you go to a new place, talk to new people, you would have to use new ones. Okay? After getting contamination, whatever, like I said, the proper way is to get your water running, let your water get hot and warm. And before you put on a glove and mask, you should wash your hands 20 seconds, hot, warm water, and soap. And after you're done, soap, let the water get hot, and wash your hands. And not just a brush, you want to wash your hands, soaking it in. You want the fingernails, you want the backs of the palms, you want in between the fingers, you want around the palms, around your wrist. And do this for at least 20 seconds. Any contaminations then and oils are washed off your hands. Okay, so most of all, the best way to protect yourself is to stay away from objects that you don't know that they've been contaminated, and stay away from people who may be contaminating you. Little type of joke I would tell about this: if you think of everywhere you go as there being dog poop on everything, would you go around touching this counter? And if I accidentally did touch this counter that had dog poop on it, first thing I would do is what? Wash my hands, hot water, soap for 20 seconds. Okay? So if I do touch this though, and I get dog poop on it, think about this too. When I go outside the door, I take the door handle and I turn it, I have just took the dog poop and I put it on the door handle. So I might not be contaminating myself, especially if I'm wearing gloves. I can toss them, but the next person who comes along and opens that door, they are contaminating their hand then with the dog poop. So what I do is I keep my hands in my pocket, and I try to stay 6 feet away from people and go out as least as possible and wash my hands with hot water and soap for at least 20 seconds. So please keep those things in mind and protect yourselves. Thank you.